Biotechnology principle and processes. The term biotechnology was coined by a scientist known as Carl Urey in 1917. Biotechnology is the field of biology which includes integrated use of biochemistry, microbiology, and engineering science to achieve technological applications of the capabilities of microorganism. Now here is a definition. Biotechnology may be defined as the use of microorganism, plants or animal cells or their components to generate product and services useful to man. According to European Federation of Biotechnology, the definition says that biotechnology is the integration of natural science and organism, cell, parts thereof and molecular analogues for the product and services. Principles of biotechnology. Biotechnology basically has got two principles. The first one is genetic engineering, which is also called as recombinant DNA technology. The technology of combining DNA from two different organisms to generate a new DNA. It also involves the production of multiple and identical copies of selected gene. So the principle of biotechnology completely based on two core techniques known as, the first one is genetic engineering and the second one is maintenance of sterile ambience. In 1972, a scientist known as Paul Burlock introduced a gene of SV40 into a bacterium using bacteriophage. SV is nothing but simian vacuolating virus which cause tumor to the bacteria. So basically, he is also regarded as father of genetic engineering. What is basically a genetic engineering is? In vitro transfer of DNA or a gene from one organism to the another organism to change phenotype of the host organism is called as genetic engineering. Natural gene transfer during pollination and fertilization, and then also genetic engineering helps to isolate useful genes and formation of new combination of DNA for repair, improvement and perfection. It takes time and change. The genes may be beneficial or neutral or lethal. Second principle of biotechnology is maintenance of sterile ambience, in which the microbes are grown in sterilized and aseptic conditions. Biotechnology thus makes use of microorganisms, plants or animal cells or their components to generate product and their services for useful to the man. Tools involved in recombinant DNA technology. The basic tools are nothing but enzymes which are required for the whole processes. The first enzyme is polymerase, which is required for synthesis of DNA. Restriction endonuclease is involved for cutting of the DNA. And lastly, the ligase, which is involved for joining of the DNA. Vectors are the things which transfer one gene from one organism to the other organism. So these are basically also called as gene carriers or cloning vectors. The next tool is the host. Host is nothing but the organism to whom the foreign DNA is being introduced. So we have got two types of host. One is prokaryotic and second one is eukaryotic. And the last tool is bioreactor. Bioreactor is a vessel in which the fermentation reaction will be carried out at larger scale, where the molecules or the products are produced in liters together of quantity. Now let's go in detail. The enzyme, the first one is restriction enzyme, which is also called as restriction endonuclease or exonuclease. These are used. Restriction endonuclease are the enzyme which cut the DNA in between, cleaving the phosphodiester bonds. Restriction endonuclease, because of their activity, they are called as cleaving enzyme as well as molecular scissors. HIN3 is an example which is discovered by Hamilton Smith, extracted from a bacteria known as Haemophilus influenza. 900 restriction enzymes from more than 230 bacteria has got recognized from different sequences and named after the bacterium of its origin. So nucleases are like enzymes which cleave the phosphodiester bond of the nucleic acid and exonucleases and endonucleases are the two types of restriction enzymes. The first one, exonucleases, remove nucleotides from the end of the DNA, and the endonucleases cut at specific position within the bacterial DNA in between. And these sequences are called as recognition sequences and also called as recognition sites. So each restriction endonuclease scan the DNA sequence. After scanning, it finds its recognition sequence and stick to that. And after sticking, it cuts each of the two strands of the double helix at its specific point. Recognition sequence of restriction endonuclease cut the DNA exactly at recognition site, and these recognition sites are usually palindromic sequences. Means these sequences are invert repeat sequences on the DNA. If you read it from 3-N to 5-N and from 5-N to 3-N, they reads the same, like the words Malayalam, Madam, and Gadag. So that is GAATTC. If you look at the complementary sequence, if you read from 3- to 5-N and then 5- to 3-N, it is going to read the same as GAATTC. So here are a few examples. These restriction endonuclease cut the DNA in two ways. First one, they produce sticky ends in which after cutting both the strands of the DNA, the ends of the DNA will remain unpaired. In second type, they will be producing blunt ends where the DNA is cut at the same position on both the strands of the DNA, where after the end there will be no unpaired sequences remaining. So in the blunt ends, the ends are even, and when the restriction endonuclease cut both the strands of the DNA at the same position, no nucleotide is left unpaired. The next concept is about naming the restriction endonucleases, also called as nomenclature of restriction endonucleases. Here there are few rules for the naming restriction endonucleases. It is 3-letter code for restriction endonucleases, for example EcoR1. First letter refers to the genus of the bacterium from which they derived and written in capital. So second two letters subsequently are for the species. So here CO refers to coli. These letters are generally written in italics. Echo for Escherichia coli, Hind for Haemophilus influenza. Next letters represent the strain. So R1 is a strain here, and Roman number indicates the different endonuclease derived from the organism. The other enzyme involved in recombinant DNA technology is DNA ligase, which act as molecular glue. It helps in joining the DNA fragments with the help of hydrogen bonds. So it forms phosphodiester bonds between two adjacent nucleotides, covalently linking two fragments of the DNA of host as well as the alien. The most commonly used joining enzyme is T4 ligase encoded by T4 phage. The DNA ligase are isolated from the bacteriophages and it was discovered by Hargobind Khurana. Joining of the DNA fragment is known as annealing. Next enzyme is DNA polymerase, which is the main enzyme which synthesizes the DNA strand. So basically the synthesis happens from 3- to the 5-N. Polymerase catalyzes the addition of nucleoside triphosphate to 3-OH. Now let's deal with the process, separation and isolation of DNA fragments. Separation and isolation of the DNA fragment is usually done with the help of electrophoresis process, in which biochemical technique is used for separating compounds in an electrical gradient. Gel electrophoresis is a technique which is used with the help of gel, that is agar gel, in which the technique is used for resolving the DNA fragment. So, electrophoresis. So here is the electrophoretic chamber which is filled with the gel, trough, buffer zone, electrodes, positive as well as negative. In the gel cast, like it's a gel in which the number of sample wells will be created. These wells will be loaded with the help of DNA fragments. After loading, the electricity field will be started and it will be applied across the gel. After that, the negatively charged DNA start moving towards the positively charged anode. So negatively charged DNA molecule move towards the anode through the gel as discrete invisible bands of the material. Smaller DNA molecule travel faster than the larger ones. Once the DNA moves to the positive end, the separated DNA fragment visualized after the staining with ethidium bromide followed by exposure to UV radiations. The DNA fragments cut out from the gel piece with the help of technique called as Southern blotting and also called as elution. The DNA fragments purified are used in the constructing recombinant DNA by joining them with the clone vectors. Desire or the donor DNA. Desire or the donor DNA are the DNA fragments of interest expressed as an important product, enzymes, proteins, hormones to be obtained first. Three ways of doing it: identifying and removing the gene of interest from DNA using a restriction endonuclease. A mammalian genome consists of over a billion base pairs. A single gene may consist of about 5,000. The second method is to identifying and isolating the specific messenger RNA from the cell, in which the messenger RNA used as template to synthesize a complementary DNA, which is also called as cDNA, and then the single-stranded DNA can be later converted into double-stranded DNA. And third method here is the directly synthesizing the desired DNA with the needed nucleotide sequence from a knowledge of genetic code. This can be done with the help of PCR technique, in which the first a single-stranded DNA molecule is made, converted into the double-stranded DNA. A 100 nucleotide length of DNA can be made at a time. Cloning vectors. These are the vectors, basically the things which will transfer the DNA. A vector is a DNA molecule that has the ability to replicate in an appropriate host cell. So DNA fragments to be cloned is inserted into it. The vectors used for the propagation of DNA of interest in a suitable host cell are called as cloning vectors. Properties of cloning vectors. The cloning vector should have low molecular weight, independent multiplication in the host cell, replication origin, that is ORAI site, and restriction endonuclease site, and special mark. So commonly used vectors are plasmids. So the plasmids are nothing but extrachromosomal circular double-stranded self-replicating DNA, which we usually find it in prokaryotes. Two most useful plasmids are PBR322, PUC18, and PUC19. Features of plasmid to facilitate as a vector. The reason why we use plasmid as a vector is, first one, because it has got origin of replication, which we also call it as ORAI site. Sequences that facilitate the amplification in the host cell. Any piece of the DNA linked to this get replicated. Selectable markers. Example, tetracycline, ampicillin, chloramphenicol, resistant gene. Genes encoding resistance to the antibiotics. So selectable markers for E. coli helps in identifying and elimination of non-transformants, selectively permitting the growth of only transformants. Selection of recombinants or transformants. There are two ways of selecting transformants from non-transformants. Transformants are the plasmid which has got a foreign gene, and non-transformants are the one which has not got the foreign gene. So when the ampicillin resistant gene is used as selectable marker, here in the bacteria the gene is cloned inside the ampicillin resistant gene and the gene is destroyed. So desired DNA is incorporated into this region, and then bacteria has no resistance towards ampicillin. So bacteria grown on tetracycline medium can grow, but the ampicillin resistant gene, as it is lost, they cannot grow in the ampicillin medium. Same bacteria now grown on ampicillin. Cloning site. It is a site actually which will be recognized by the restriction endonuclease to cleave. So vector needs to have recognition sites for the restriction endonuclease where vectors will be open. So at this site it will be cut and then alien DNA will be inserted. While doing so, wherever the foreign DNA is inserted at restriction site within the marker gene, the marker gene does not express as it loses its property, and that is the reason the process is called as insertional inactivation. In this process, as there are two antibiotic resistant genes, the antibiotic resistant gene for ampicillin resistance get inactivated due to the insertion of foreign DNA, whereas the other antibiotic resistant gene, that is tetracycline resistant gene, helps in selecting the transformants. Transformants are nothing but the plasmid which have taken foreign gene. Alternate method for the selectable marker is it is capacity to differentiate recombinant from non-recombinants. So basis of their ability to produce color in the presence of chromogenic substrate. So here a foreign DNA is inserted within the coding sequence of enzyme beta galactosidase in the plasmid. So here is a plasmid with a beta galactosidase gene, that is LAC-Z. The foreign DNA is inserted within the beta galactosidase gene in the plasmid. So here it is going, non-transformants are going to produce a blue color colonies, where the transformants are going to be white in color. That will segregate transformants from non-transformants. Due to insertion, the beta galactosidase enzyme get inactivated. If there is insertional inactivation, then the colonies do not produce color. That is called as insertional inactivation. So transformants are going to be white in color. If there is no insertion of foreign DNA, the chromogenic substrate present in the media gives blue color colonies, indicating colonies present are non-transformants. Cloning vectors, that is PBR322. Constructed plasmid, it's an artificial plasmid constructed by two scientists, Bolivar and Rodriguez, and accommodated large inserts, multiple selectable markers, multiple cloning sites, MCCS, and polylinkers. PBR322, an artificial plasmid constructed by Bolivar and Rodriguez, strain 322. In this plasmid, basically you have got ORI site, ampicillin resistant gene, tetracycline resistant gene, and ROP, that is nothing but protein required for the replication. The size is basically 4.3 kb in size, and 1 kb basically is equal to 1000 BP. So this plasmid basically show lot many recognition sites apart from ORI, ampicillin resistant, tetracycline resistance. It has got basically two recognition site here, which is called as PVU1, PST1. Then it has got selectable marker. It has got restriction sites as EcoR1, which will recognize at GAATTC sequence, CLA1, and then HIND3, tetracycline resistant gene, BAMH1, SAL1, XMAL1, ROP. ROP codes for protein involved in replication of the plasmid. Other vectors. Other than plasmids, the cosmid are the vectors which will be usually used. So the cosmids, basically they will be having cos site, ORI site, ampicillin resistant gene, and a gene for antibiotic resistance. The cohesive site of DNA of lambda phase slice to an ORI. So they will be again having polylinkers, and other viral genes have been removed. In the category of other vectors, bacterial artificial chromosome also comes. So here is a bacterial artificial chromosome which will be having various sites. Like bacterial artificial chromosome, we have yeast artificial chromosome also. So this is present in the yeast, having again many sites. Next vector is TI vector, the plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens. It's a bacteria which is pathogenic to the plant and produce tumors. Tumor production is due to a gene called as TI gene, which belongs to the plasmid, and the gene is tumor inducing gene. So in the plasmid, this gene causes tumor, so it can be removed and the alien gene can be inserted and transferred to the plants. TI gene actually codes for the substance that stimulates cell division and induce tumor formation. TI plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens has been modified into cloning vector now without its pathogenicity. It is very efficient cloning vector for the plant cells. In case of animals, retroviruses can act as the vectors. So the vector for the animal cell include retroviruses, many of which act in a way similar to the TI plasmid in the plants. Retroviruses may induce cancerous growth in the animals. Inactivated or disarmed retroviruses are now used in the delivering desirable gene into the animal cells. Insertion of recombinant DNA into the host cell. Recombinant DNA is made by cleaving at the plasmid with the help of restriction endonuclease and ligating the foreign gene into it. Once the recombinant DNA is ready, it has to be entered into the host cell. DNA being hydrophilic does not enter a lipid-rich plasma membrane. Hence, host cell membrane made competent to accept the DNA by changing properties of the plasma membrane. Poration is the first method in which the cells are treated with the calcium chloride. Here the cold calcium chloride is used and then heat shock method is applied. For this, the temperature is varied from 42 degrees Celsius to the 0 degrees Celsius. While doing so, the cell membrane gets destabilized and develop pores into it. Once the pores are developed, the recombinant DNA take entry into the host cell. The next method is microinjections, for which the injections of the desired gene into the nucleus of the animal cell is done. For this, the micro syringes are used in which the cells will be taken with the help of micropipette and directly injected into the cells using capillary glass micropipette. Next method to make host competent is biolistic gene gun method. In this, the plant cell is bombarded with the high velocity microparticles of gold or tungsten coating the DNA. So usually in the rice, wheat and maize this technique is used.